Well, hey, we got the result, we were hoping for, and Oregon's a heck of a team, and anytime you beat a team that talented, home or away, it's a good thing for your program. So I've a ton of respect for them, and they Oregon really battled in that second half, and they didn't make it easy. And they could have wilted, but they didn't, and it was good. We had to hang in there and make a bunch of plays under duress, and kind of uncomfortable sometimes. Nursing that lead's not the easiest thing. So super proud of our guys, and for really adhering to a game plan and doing a good job on that, and then our defense wasn't perfect, but it was really good in certain stretches. And then offensively, obviously, Zoo, was spectacular tonight. I mean, a lot of times as a coach, you watch a lot of basketball. I mean, it's kind of, you kind of have a one-track mind. And so you get a lot of reps, of watching, and just the way the ball was coming off his hand tonight was something special. And you just don't see it every day. I mean, it's probably a equivalent of watching a great pitcher. You get to see sometimes how that ball snaps out of their fingers, and it's just one of those nights. And yeah, I mean, you don't get to experience that very often. So I'm really proud of Zoo. And the coolest part is he had a bunch of family and friends here from Lithuania. So maybe we need to keep him here.
Have you ever experienced a night like that before when a player's in that type of rhythm?
Yeah, I mean, I've coached for 20, 24, 25 years and a lot of good players. Yeah, so I have. I remember a guy named Adam Morrison had 7 or 8 of those games, so he was pretty good.
How do you explain the difference between that game up there and this game?
I think up there, playing on the road's tough, and obviously, playing at Oregon when they're dialed in is hard, and they had kind of come off a crazy loss to Arizona State where they just got hammered. And I knew, it's just whatever. Coaches were creating a lot of things in our minds, but I knew it was going to be really tough because, I knew Dana's a great coach and he's going to be on them. And they came out and they really responded. They played with tremendous effort, at home, and we didn't, and sometimes that happens on the road. It's disappointing because, I think we have a style of basketball that travels really well and plays well on the road, and it didn't that day. So, I just, to be honest with you, after we lost that game, I wasn't even that upset. I mean, obviously I'm not happy. I went through it and I was able to kind of cleanse myself pretty quick. When we lost against Washington State here, I didn't feel good. That one took me a little longer to get over, but that loss up there, we kind of chalked it up to, we played a desperate team that played really well. And, and then tonight I wanted to make sure that we were kind of matching that desperation.
Were either you or Zoo aware of how close he was to the McHale record?
No, my SID is well informed not to tell me anything. It's like, a pitcher having a no-hitter. We're playing the game, trying to win the basketball game. I don't need to know about records.
They had Biddle and Dante both in there a lot, I think, and also tonight, what was the difference in the way Zoo was able to handle?
Well, I mean, I just think Zoo's activity, it was better, and I think our guys found him. A lot of those baskets, if you watch in the first half, is him just, moving a few feet here, moving a few feet there, kind of presenting himself, and our guys found him in some open pockets. And then, like I said, just the way the ball was coming out of his hand tonight, it felt like everything he was shooting was going in, not even hitting the rim. And so, yeah, he just had one of those nights.
Do you think the way he plays Tommy around the basket, does that lend to him being able to get to the line the way that he does and either scoring it for him?
Well, I mean, if you're generally scoring around the basket, usually you're going to be in tight space. You're not going to get too many just wide open layups. So, so then when you're in tight space, there's contacts, and then it lends to more fouls being called. I don't think it's anything more complicated than that. He had a number of and ones, I don't know, 3 or 4 at least, right? 5? That's pretty impressive. The old-fashioned way.
Well, you talked about your defense. Recently, you guys have become more handsy. Tonight was real handsy. Is this something that you guys want? You have 9 steals.
Yeah, it's good. We have guys that I think are capable of playing that way, and I want them to turn themselves loose, within the framework of what we're trying to do, I thought for the most part we did a good job. We held them to 41%, 30. It just felt like in the second half they'd made more. Maybe they missed some down the stretch there. But yeah, we want to be more aggressive defensively, and start possessions aggressive.
How does Azuolas compare to Sabonis when he's at Gonzaga?
Obviously Lithuanian, lefty, min a few words. I mean, there's definitely some similarities, but I don't think it's fair at this point to compare Zoo just because it's, you look at Domus in the NBA and he's an all-star, and I definitely know in my mind Zoo's an NBA player. I mean, I've coached enough of him. He is an NBA player. I mean, the way he moves and runs and just the effortlessness he can play with, at a high level is pretty special. So, but there are a lot of similar, just hard to guard left-handed guys. And, Domus is probably a little more physical and more of a rebounding force. And Zoo's probably a better runner and things of that nature.
They know he's left-handed. How does he still get shots off to the left side?
Well, if you cheat it so bad, he's mobile enough to make a layup with his right hand. I mean, he's not incapable of that. So, and a lot of, I think he had a few jump hooks today, but a lot of them were just catching passes on dump downs and finish it really quick with your natural left hand. I don't think it was anything crazier than that. But lefties throw a curveball at you. I mean, it's a little bit different to play against a lefty, especially a lefty post.
You have to be fearless to do what he's doing.
I don't really think Zoo fears anybody, but I don't know if you have to be fearless. I think you just have to be really good.
Kerr didn't shoot it well at the beginning, but he did late. Your thoughts on how he played?
I thought Kerr really controlled the game. And, I think he had 7 assists, 2 turnovers. And up there, Kerr got in foul trouble, which was a huge part of that game. And we ended up with some lineups, that, probably weren't the best lineups at the end of the half. And I think we were tied. And then Kerr picked up his 3rd foul, diving for a loose ball in the first half. And, it's a coach's nightmare. And then I think he gave up like almost a 10-point lead down the stretch of that thing. So I thought he did a really good job controlling the game and managing their defenses and how they were guarding ball screens and making a lot of good decisions. And then, we talk a lot about those threes at the end of a game. You're trying to run a little bit of clock, so your offense maybe loses a little bit of thrust, but at the same point, I probably can't say the type of shot we talk about it is, publicly, but like those are really important shots. You shoot with a ton of grit, a ton of heart, and you love making those dagger threes. And, obviously, Kerr enjoys that.
I feel like Kerr's not going to get the benefit of the doubt on some of those where he hits the floor and they're reviewing it like they were tonight. He's had a couple of flops.
Yeah, listen, they reviewed it. So I don't know. I haven't watched it, and if the referees review something, I have to take them at their word. If they sit there for 4 minutes and watch something, I have to assume that they're making the correct decision.
I have one more question.
I just wondered because you had a couple of flopping things. I'm just wondering if they're just thinking, okay, it's Kerr again.
But I don't know, maybe. But if you review it, I don't know. You review it, you review it.
Do you think his personality allows him, having a conversation with the referee about that call? The ref maybe wouldn't allow a lot of guys to get that kind of concession.
Well, listen, Kerr's he's a really good basketball player. And, anybody that wouldn't want him on their team is crazy. And, and these referees respect good players. They know he's a good player, and they know he's got a little personality. And sometimes, some things come with a personality. And so I think the referees, know how to manage him. And I think he's learning how to manage them. And this is part of maturing as a player. And I think he's doing a great job.